Welcome to the AI for Career Success Video Overview by Curt Robbins. We're experts at AI coaching and helping professionals like you and your employees upskill in AI. Now, that's a pretty provocative statement to start with. In this overview, we're going to examine a compelling argument that really challenges the current industry narrative around artificial intelligence. Our analysis is grounded in the article titled, "We don't have AI agents, we have really fast macros." It was written by AI strategist Chris Hood and published on LinkedIn back on March 27th, 2024. All right, so here's how we're going to break this down. We'll start by deconstructing the myth of AI agents, and then we'll get into their current reality. From there, we'll explore something called the governance belief gap, analyze a key architectural flaw, and then wrap up by looking at 3 potential paths forward. So let's dive right into this prevailing myth. You know, the current narrative, which is often fueled by some really impressive tech demos, tends to portray AI agents as genuinely autonomous entities. But here's the thing. The author argues that what we're actually seeing in demos and enterprise platforms doesn't really align with this hyped-up vision. In short, they aren't the truly independent, self-governing agents that the name implies. So, if they aren't true agents, then what are they? Well, the article suggests a much more grounded reality, reframing these systems as an evolution of a technology that's actually quite familiar. The core argument here is that today's so-called agents are essentially just advanced macros or workflows. You can think of them as predefined scripts where a large language model is simply brought in to handle the unstructured tasks within that script. The author has a really insightful term for this rebranding, agent washing. And it's a clever way to describe how this practice obscures a simple truth, that the underlying enforcement model is the same one we've been using in IT for decades. So, to cut through the hype and get to the reality of the technology, the author proposes a very simple but really powerful test. It all comes down to asking, who pressed the button? For any AI agent in production today, the answer is always a human. A person configured it, deployed it, and triggered it. And a human monitors it, and ultimately stops it. Because a person is always in that initiation and oversight loop, governance is not some new existential problem. It's a familiar challenge of access control. Now, why does this distinction actually matter? Well, this mislabeling has some pretty significant consequences, and it creates a major disconnect in how we approach AI governance. The author identifies what he calls a 7-year belief gap. The idea here is that the public and even enterprise perception of AI capabilities is running about 7 years ahead of the actual technology that's been deployed. And the result of this gap is that the industry is focusing its energy on regulating these hypothetical, existential risks of systems that don't even exist yet, all while we overlook the very practical governance needs of the advanced automations we have right now. This belief gap, this focus on governing a future we imagine instead of the present we have, it leads directly to a fundamental architectural flaw in how many organizations are trying to control AI. The central conflict here lies between the probabilistic nature of large language models, which operate on likelihoods, and the deterministic controls we try to place around them, which are based on fixed, explicit rules. And this analogy just illustrates the problem perfectly. When you try to do this, one of 2 things happens. Either the rules are so tight that they defeat the entire purpose of using the LLM, or they're so loose that the governance becomes completely ineffective. So if the current approach is fundamentally flawed, what are the viable alternatives? How can we build systems that are truly governable? The author proposes 3, let's call them architecturally honest paths. The first is to build agents using deterministic, predictable code. The second, if you must use a probabilistic LLM, is to build governance that is also probabilistic to match it. And the third, which is the most ambitious, is to design entirely new AI models with governability as a core feature right from the start. To summarize, the AI systems we have today are really just powerful and manageable macros, not true autonomous agents. We do need to prepare for a future where genuine autonomy presents a much more difficult governance challenge, but the race to solve that problem has really only just begun. And that leaves us with a critical question for you to consider. Is your organization governing the AI you have or the AI you imagine? Thank you for watching. This is where we teach you AI and help you get smarter than your competition. If you like these videos, use the QR code at the beginning of this video to buy us a coffee or hire us to coach you or your employees in AI. Please subscribe to the AI for Career Success YouTube channel and like, comment, and share to help us reach a wider audience.